That's the important. What's up, party people? Questions, answers, Emily,
Hi.
Logan. You guys know you're annoyed by me by now. Okay, so questions, but I think they were very good questions. Let's go ahead and start. I think it was Kelly. Number one, yes, I'll be doing early weigh-ins next week. I will be at, I believe, the North Club on Monday, and wait for an announcement here because I didn't go back and think which club I was going to be where. No. I'll be at the South Club on Monday, North Club on Tuesday, and I'll be at the West Club on Wednesday. So don't hold me to that. I'll announce it though. I'll make sure just where I'm at when. So yes, I am doing early weigh-ins the first 3 days of next week. Just be paying attention to the announcements I make. All right, so yes, just not sure when. Second question, burnout, Kelly. Yes. Been there myself. You ever been burnt out?
Oh, yes.
It's common. It's normal. It's fine. You always have to build in a little bit of a deload, okay? But it's got to be structured. It's got to be planned. I don't know about you, but for me, I'm going to take a look at how many days I'm working out. Number one, every day of the week. It's probably good. I mean, you work out, what, 4 days a week maybe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I work out 4 or 5 days a week, sometimes 3, just depending on the week.
Yep.
But I always structure about every 12 weeks, I take 2 weeks of active recovery. So I'm still lost. I don't think that should really change, especially if you're experience results with that. I don't say take a break necessarily from that. I don't say necessarily, what's up, Mike? Necessarily, you're all right, come on in, man, you're good. You're good. Mike's smarter than all of us.
No, say hi,
Mike's
say
smarter
hi.
than all of us.
Bring your face in. Hi. Hey,
Hello.
Mike.
Nobody knows who you are because you're never on Facebook.
That's true. That's true.
We're going to make a fake account on mine.
But yeah, so every 12 weeks or so, I take 2 weeks off, but it's active recovery, so I still make it to the gym. I just make them a little bit more. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit because if I get a "that's what she said" ringtone, it's going to be really loud on your end. So I keep the habit, but I'm mobilizing, I'm stretching, I'm in the sauna, maybe some very light cardio, not really trying to push myself, just trying to move. But you can do other things too. Go to the park. It's getting a little cold, obviously. Or just active recovery. Find something fun you like to do that's physical. Go do that. So there's less pressure to get to the gym. But yeah, you should be taking it easy every 12 weeks or so. At least a week of active recovery. What are your thoughts there?
I totally agree with you, Logan. What I do, especially like, let's say like with this challenge, it's been like making sure I get my workouts in, even though you and I haven't been able to work out a lot, but I'm still getting them in. And I get tired too. There's a lot of times when I feel burnt out. I'll use whenever I was marathon training, I always took a break after I did a big race. And it's nice because you need like muscle recovery. And then you just get reset. You know, there's always someone around that's going to encourage you to get back to where you are, and you need that, because then if you are constantly working out, then you're going to end up hating it, and then you're walking backwards. And you are kind of like you're starting all over again, and you don't want to. So it's okay to take a little break, but I agree with Logan also how he said, don't take a break from your logging your food, so your nutrition should keep going. But if you want to take a break from working out, then that's absolutely fine.
And if you want to take if you want to have a day or two here or there where you're not really focused on nutrition, just make sure to have it planned. Make sure the day before, the day after are good, right? But we don't want to break that habit. With Fierce, right now I'm doing 12-week cycles. I think people are getting a little tired of running, so the following cycle will remove running, but I'll probably keep an 8-week cycle. But it's 12 weeks of hard work, test, and then we recover for a week. So it's perfectly normal, it's perfectly natural. And if you're not doing it, you're really doing a disservice to yourself.
Yes.
And I've got trainers that could learn that lesson. Work hard for a set period of time, take it easy, give your body a break, repeat. So really good question. Christine talked about cardio versus weight. Let's be a little more specific here. How many days a week should I dedicate to cardio versus weights? That's a really good one. And Christine, so I know your schedule pretty well. You do some team training at least once a week, if not twice. It seems you do dynamic once or twice, and you do Fierce once or twice. So as far as weights go, I think you're covered. All right, I think you're doing well. As far as cardio goes too, I think you're really doing well. There's no perfect answer. Everybody's a little different, but just remember the EPOC effect that weights give you, right? Exercise post oxygen consumption. So when I lift weights, when I break down weights, I can burn calories up to 72 hours. Now, most of the time it's 24 to 48, but I burn more calories throughout the day than I would at steady state cardio. Steady state being about 65% of your maximum heart rate. If I go on a treadmill for 30 minutes at 65%, and let's say I burn, let's be generous, 300 calories, the second I stop moving, I stop burning those extra calories, right? With weights, it's different. I might not burn 300 calories in 30 minutes of weight training, though I can, but I will burn more than that long term. It's just about being efficient with your time. The last thing we do as trainers, the last thing we do is encourage more exercise. Quality over quantity. So whether you are doing cardiovascular training, whether you're doing weight training, make sure when you get in, you're focused, you're intense on whatever it is you're doing. Christine, I know you are, but get the most bang for your buck, and then make sure you're spending time recover, because it's where we rest is where we build muscles, where we recover. So there's no right answer, but if you're if you need to do a little cardio, what do you think? A day or two of just kind of light movement, right? Even just run or walking fast, jogging. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is a little bit different from what you were saying. Yeah. Well, although I totally agree with what you're saying.
Well, one way skinny cat.
Yes. So I'm answering this on because there are some people in this challenge that are already runners or are wanting to run, or I believe even Amy Martin just did a 10K race the other day.
6 miles?
Yes, 6.2. That point two matters. So congratulations, Amy Martin. Yes. So with me as a runner, what I have grown to know that it's important not to ignore your weight training. Always build those muscles in. Yes, you're going to get your cardiovascular with running, but if you aren't lifting your weights, then you're defeating the purpose of even running, because you're going to have a lot of injuries. So I can go maybe like a week or two without running, but as long as I keep up with my weight training, I know that I could still nail my workouts, just because I'm keeping that muscle buildup. And I think Christine was talking about the risk of burning muscle. However, I can attest that I'm a perfect person. That did happen to me this I was concentrating so much on my sprint workouts that I did ignore my weight training, and I did lose some muscle mass. So it is, first and foremost, make sure that you get your training with your weights.
I will say, though, for cardio options, sprinting is probably the best for maintaining and even building. I mean, just take a look at the difference of physiques of your marathoner versus your sprinter. Yes. I mean, your sprinter's got those ham hocks, right? Big calves, big legs. They got muscle, right? And they're weight training too. They're cross training too. Understand that. Marathoners don't really have the time.
Yes, and I was doing endurance training. I'm sorry, I should have said endurance training instead of sprinting. But yes.
Yeah. So endurance training versus sprinting. That's why I like cross training workouts, though truly and utterly. We're mixing in some cardiovascular elements, whether it's circuit training. So remember, circuit training. See, I knew somebody called me. You guys, you're welcome. Circuit training done at similar intensities can burn as many calories while you're doing it as walking at that same intensity. So, going from 3, 4, 5 exercises back to back to back to back with a little rest in between those exercises, you're getting the benefit of cardiovascular training as well as muscle building. Good bang for buck, right? But something like Fierce, you're one day you are focused maybe a little bit on strength, then you're focusing a little bit on a little bit of strength, a little bit of cardio, then you're focusing on a little bit of cardio. That cross training stuff is what I really like, because 3-4 days a week of that, unless I'm training something specifically like a 10K, gives me what I need. I think we should all be able to run 2 miles. I really do. I think we should all be able to run and move a distance. I think we all should be strong too. Yes. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. I'm okay with that. But with Amy, congratulations, because I know one of these emails I talked about is training for something, right? You have to have something to train for. Weight loss is a great goal, but I love picking 1 or 2 things a year at least to motivate me, to encourage me to work harder, be consistent. So this year, and I'm going to do it again next year, did a Spartan Beast, which was 14 miles, and I did the hour fight for air climb for the first time. Those gave me some things to train for, to motivate me, to inspire me, and pressure me a little bit too. I think pressure is important. Used to do martial arts, used to fight. That was my motivation. Then I did CrossFit competitions. That was my motivation. So now I changed a little bit. Now I'm doing more endurance stuff, and I'll come back. question?
Let's go
Barb.
to, yeah, this actually wasn't on our question feed, but it was asked yesterday since we're talking about running.
Yeah, okay, so for Mama, what's up, Barb?
So Barb had...
Kid's name's Logan, by the way. It's a great name.
Barb had posted on there, since we were talking about running, that she wanted to get back into running and do the 5K.
Okay.
And so then talking
5K
about...
a month. 5K
yes.
a month.
Then talking about what training recommendations do we have. And really exactly what Logan was just saying is great, you know, getting that cross training in for that 5K. And I had mentioned in that feed that master that do the deadlift. I was doing it wrong, and actually these guys taught me how to do the deadlift. There's probably still some tweaks, but I feel like that I've done a lot better with it. And then also hip flexors. Logan can tell you, he saw a video of me doing some hip,
like a year ago.
A jump. Yeah, I was actually jumping mini hurdles, and he sent me a message. He's like, you need to work on your knees. And it wasn't the issue of my knees, it was the issue of my hip flexors. So he sent me this really nice article, and so I'll let you elaborate on deadlift and hip flexors.
Well, I mean, just everything. Remember, we're sitting down right now. So what's occurring as I'm sitting down is my heel cords, my Achilles, my calves, they're tightening. My hips are tightening. Most of us sit down, so we have tight hips. And your body's a chain. So, like, I've got back pain. My back pain is not generally associated with my actual back. It's my hips are tight, right? There are other things going on there, too. But it's important to be complete, right? Time for mobilization, time for endurance, time for strength. Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I don't remember the rest of the question. Let's go back. It's so sorry, guys. Let's talk about hips. I got excited.
Because they don't lie.
Okay, they don't lie. Now I want to get back into recommendations as far as nutrition training, and this is something important too. Remember, as far as nutrition goes, your nutrition has to support your activity, but your activity can never support poor nutrition.
Right.
Endurance, and you would be better at this than myself, but endurance athletes tend to need more carbs.
Yep.
Right, but quality, if you focus on food quality, then everything else kind of falls into place. Eating like a bunch a day. And there was a funny story that I'm not going to go into here, because I think we talked about poop last time, so we're not going to.
We talked too much.
We're not going to do it twice. But just make sure whatever you're doing, one supports the other, right? It's about balance. I think that's the most important thing. So Barb, 5K a month, I think, is a completely reasonable goal. Start off, foam roll your calves. You have an anterior pelvic tilt, so we can just, throwing your pelvic tilt on blast. Hips are like a bucket, Barb, and most of you who are watching this now, your bucket is tilted forward, okay?
Yes.
What that means is abdominal walls get drawn out, those get weak, the low back tightens up, which deactivates the glutes, which tightens the hamstrings generally, tightens the hips generally. So things I would focus on if you are running, make sure you are foam rolling quads, hamstrings, stretching your hips, stretching that low back, strengthen your abdominal wall, and then looking at your posture too. If it's all a chain, right? If one thing's misaligned, everything's misaligned.
Absolutely. And that's why whenever I train runners, I focus on the hip flexors. And I'm going to mention Stephanie Beneke. First, started off.
Let's talk about her pelvic tilt. She's got one too.
Yeah. Well, first you talked about nutrition, and Stephanie met me at Hy-Vee, and we went grocery shopping, because I told her, I'm like, if you really want to focus on your running, then we need to fix your nutrition, in which she's done exceptionally well with. And then showed her some tips about running, and exactly what you just said. Have her roll her shoulders back, chin and chest is lifted, to make sure that her spine is nice and straight. And then, of course, like with strides, but that all needs to be explained in person. It's easier to show you. Yeah,
and strides a big thing. Like, there's a great philosophy. I've got a buddy who, not a huge proponent of working out. His heart, I think, his mind is in the right place. I think his heart's just lazy. But he had a really good philosophy, right? If you're not walking correctly, right? And how many steps a day do we take? If the average person is between 5,000 and 10,000 steps a day, those are 5,000, 10,000 incorrect repetitions per exercise. So if you're not focused on the walking, feet, head, weight evenly distributed between all 5 toes, midfoot, heel, lots of bad things can happen. Same thing with running. If you're running 6 miles and every single stride and step is incorrect, why do you think runners have probably the highest rate of knee pain, low back pain, hip pain? It's because they're putting the most effort out there. They're doing the most repetitions out there, but not everybody's great at it, right? I mean, you get a lot of heel strikers, issues with that, right?
I'm insane.
And
Oh,
shoes
that drives me
support
nuts.
that, right? Shoes
Yes.
support that.
Never
So,
heel strike, and
no.
don't cross arm. I mean, you're totally taking everything out of
I
alignment.
Phoebe it. Anybody ever see that episode of Friends?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, I'll post that video on
Yeah,
that. It's
yeah.
pretty funny. So it's a lot of little things to keep in mind. So Barb, for you, reach out to Emily. She can help you with stride. Josh Gabriel's a track master.
Yeah.
You do Fierce in the morning sometimes too. Talk with him. He's got some great insight there.
He's such a cutie.
He is adorable.
Don't you just want his hair?
He's gone through 3 transitions now.
Yes,
So he
sometimes
did
it's
he
bad.
did the man bun
Yes.
but then he did the poof back, and now they are braided.
I haven't seen it
Yeah,
braided.
Yeah, it was braided yesterday. So the transitions
I
of
need
hair.
to see it.
So we are near the last week. This is so I'm counting down to a week from Saturday. I can eat meat again.
But we get to do your cholesterol.
Oh yeah,
your
I'll make
check.
sure we'll do cholesterol
Yes.
next week.
Yes.
I'm assuming it'll be pretty good.
Because what we're gonna do next week's cholesterol check, and then you're gonna get back on your meat, and then
We'll do it
check
again. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be high because I'm gonna kill me some cows. So I'll tell you what, I'm gonna go to Taylorville, and there's a place called Bill's Toasties, and their patties are like that big. I don't travel for food, but I'm traveling for this food. I'm taking my father-in-law, and listen, last time I went to Bill's Toasties, I ordered a double. Now I eat healthy most of the time. This is not indicative of how I normally eat, but it was a treat, right? Ordered a double. He put the patties on. He goes, you know, that's the patty, right? And you want a double? And I go, sir, I know what I'm about. It took me less than 3 minutes to eat it. He walked by, he did the double take, and I go, I told you. Anyway, long story short, last week, keep it up. I find this is actually the hardest week. So understand that, prepare that, know it's okay to struggle, know it's okay to misstep, but as long as you pick yourself back up if you fall down, you're doing great. You've made it this far. We're almost there.
Yeah, we do it too. We fall down too, but
Absolutely.
we always pick each other back up, and that's a great thing.
Unless we're racing.
Oh, and then I
pass you.
win. And then I win.
pass you. I'll trip you. I'll just put a 13-inch box in your way, and that'll.
Oh my gosh, that is awful.
Was it 13 inches?
It was.
That's like
about,
half your height, though.
Yeah.
That's like half
That's
your
like
height.
right
That's
here.
half your height.
I know.
You're
But that was-
2'8".
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen my nice leg on my Facebook page, yeah.
Go look, laugh.
I mean, it's totally like bruising my ego. But
Good.
Logan, it was because I got cocky,
got
because I'm
cocky.
used to jumping higher, and
Like a
then
good pie.
like, oh, here's a little one, I can do it. Nope, I biffed.
If you can
Scar,
drown
or-
in 2 inches of water, you can biff it on a 13-inch
I
box.
did, yeah.
All right. So, more questions, more comments. Post here. We'll do one more live next week. Thank you, guys.